Imagine building stunning professional websites in just a matter of hours without writing a single line of code. Not only is it possible, but with the right tools, this process can become a lucrative income stream. In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 game-changing tools that have created a new process, a hack, if you will, that I call the 3F method, that will take your web design process from slow and complex and frustrating to fast and efficient and lucrative. Let's dive in. The process that I'm about to share with you revolves around 3 tools, and each of them, by some sort of coincidence, all happen to start with the letter F. I did not plan it that way. It's just how it's happening. And so these 3 tools, when strung together, will create this process, this workflow of banging out websites quickly. They are beautiful, professional, functional, and they have all sorts of abilities with them. And so let's start with the very first tool. That tool is Figma. Figma is probably the premier design tool for digital designers right now. For people like me who want to make mobile apps, websites, software, this is kind of the go-to. And I am not hired by Figma to say it, but it's probably one of my favorite design tools. And you can start for free. Just go create a free account if you don't have one already, because we're going to be spending a lot of time in this tool. The second tool that we're going to be using is my new favorite way of designing and developing websites, and that is Framer. If you're not hip to the whole Framer game, I've made other videos about it, but Framer is a way for you to actually bring things from Figma if you want to, or just design natively in Framer and design these websites that with a click of a button you can publish, and they are live functioning websites. Beautiful code, high functionality, animations, color, typography, the whole thing. And they work on all device sizes and screen sizes. So Framer is going to be an amazing place to start. You can sign up for a free account here as well. And lastly, we're going to be implementing a tool. And this tool is actually more of a library. It's called Framepad. Recently found Framepad, and it is a library directly for Framer. And it's going to come with a lot of kind of pre-designed layouts, components, typography set, color. And so Framepad is going to be kind of the foundational layer of our design. Now, there's going to be some naysayers out there right now that are like, wow, what are you like recommending that we don't do something custom? Hear me out. There's a time and a place for custom. And even in this process, you can expand upon this process and take a moment to break outside of the box, to do things really interesting and creative. But the large majority of people who need websites, they need things to be functional. There's certain elements and aspects to a website that just make sense. They bring a lot of value for entrepreneurs, for startups, for founders, for products. And so I'm going to teach you this process. Feel free to lengthen it, to customize, to expound upon it as much as you want. With that being said, let's dive into how this whole process works. I'm about to blow your mind when I tell you that the start of this process actually does not take place inside of Figma, your design tool, and it doesn't take place inside of Framer, your development tool. It actually takes place by grabbing a copy of Framepad. Now, yes, hear me out, Framepad does cost money. It is a bit of an investment. You can invest $109 inside this Framepad Pro account or the Pro Creator license, but you probably, if you're just building websites for clients, need the Framepad Pro account. It's going to get you a license to download this, and you can duplicate it as many times as you want, have it, own it, do what you will. I'm not sponsored by Framepad. I don't have an affiliate link for Framepad, so I'm not making any money off of this recommendation. It's something that I have done because it has made me money, and so I want to recommend it to you. So you can pick up, if you want to do this, pick up a copy of Framepad. When you do that and you open up Framer, which is going to be our next step in the process, you get your free Framer account, you open it up, and you will have a copy of Framepad sitting inside. Now, there's a way that you do this. You get an email after you buy it, you open it up, you attach it to your account, and boom, all of a sudden you have Framepad. I'm currently using version 1.0. And when you do this and you open up Framepad 1.0, this is what you're going to find. Okay, I'm going to zoom out and you can see it's going to say, hey, welcome to Framepad, the largest UI kit and design system for Framer. Now, I don't really know if that's true, and there might be other design systems and UI kits for Framer, but this one's just working for me. And so it's going to give you some of the ins and outs of Framer, but let me give you the ins and outs of Framepad, but let me give you some of those ins and outs right now. We have a getting started page over here on your canvas, and you can read all about it. And this is actually very valuable. It's going to tell you how you should immediately start customizing global styles like color, typography, and it's going to tell you how to use these components. We're going to go over that here in a second, so we don't even need to read it. And then you can learn more about Framer, which I highly recommend you do because it is an amazing tool. And then as you start to go down all of these Canvas pages, you'll find things like there's your colors. And so we can update all of the colors. And when these colors update, you can start using them and they're reflected everywhere, like cascading style sheets almost, okay? You also have typography. We'll be able to update all of this typography. It tells us a little bit how to use it. Really, really nice. We have built-in shadows and blurs and logos that we can start using, and we can replace this logo with our own logo. And then we have a bunch of elements. Check these out, like buttons and tabs and toggles and switches, everything that you might need. But where this starts to get really, really powerful is when we start getting over here into these sections. I'm going to hit something like a hero section, and you'll notice we have all of these pre-built layouts for hero sections for our website. And you can see this one is called horizontal 1. And we'll actually go back over to the top of our pages and go to our home page. We're actually using one of these, like these ones. We're using vertical 3. It's right there for us. And so this is kind of the basic foundational piece here. You're going to get a hold of this Framepad license, install it, and just start to familiarize yourself with all of the different building blocks. Now, as I go through those pages, those Canvas pages, I might, as you can see here, we have the start of a website inside of Framer, but we don't want to edit this version. So I'm actually going to come back here, and you can see what I can do inside of Framer is I can click on this and I can duplicate Framepad. And when I duplicate it, I get a brand new version or instance of Framepad. It comes with all of those elements. It comes with all of the colors, the typography, everything's just baked right into it inside of that duplicate. And here's an example of one of those that I've done right here. This is a new website that I'm going to be building really quickly for a client, and we've gone ahead and just duplicated it so we have all of that stuff inside of it. And then what I've done, and this is what you're going to do as well, the first step is to start going through and finding sections that you want. For instance, like a social proof section. Like let's say we really want this social proof section right here. I'm going to grab this. I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to come back up to my home page. I'm going to click inside of my artboard here for desktop, and I'm going to paste it. And it went down to the bottom. Why don't we move that up to the top, and we'll just put that in. Now, Framepad documentation is going to tell you whenever you put one of these in here, we need to do something inside of Framer, and that is to go over to the width here and move that width from fit to fill. You'll see right now it's trying to fit everywhere. So let's just set it to fill, and immediately everything kicks over. So now it's filling. Then we can come to the sections here. And if you know a little bit about Framer, we have, these are all components that have different variants. So I'm going to come down and just choose, I don't want the desktop version for my tablet. I want tablet. And same thing goes for my phone. I'm going to grab it over here. I'm going to swap it from desktop to phone. And look at that. We have placed all of our elements inside of here. Now, these are working. This whole canvas or my artboard is working almost in an auto layout form. It's called a stack inside of Framer. And as I put things in, they're just expanding the page out and stacking each of the sections. So as I start moving things around, you're going to see it reflected on all of the different artboards. And in this way, you're going to build out the wireframe and the content and all of the structure of your website using these pre-built kind of areas. Now, this is a key spot where if you'd like to customize, feel free to customize right here, or you can move right into the next step. What's great about this too is before we move into that step, I can actually publish a version of this website, and I can click on the actual URL. Here's my staging site, and I can send this staging site to my client. So once I've filled in the copy here, maybe I use some ChatGPT to get me started. I do a little bit of customization, add some headlines and titles. I'm sending them not a static wireframe, but I'm sending them a totally responsive wireframe that's actually happening in the browser with little light amounts of animation. And this is why this process is so powerful. Most clients struggle understanding the context of what they're looking at. You have to send them a Figma prototype, and it's hard for them to fully understand. Let's get buy off on the wireframe right here in this step, actually in the browser. Let them view it the way they're going to. If they want to open it up on their device, on their phone, they'll be able to look at it. If they want to look at it on their laptop, they can look at it. And that is the power of this first step is that we've done all the structure, we fill in the content, we send a live responsive staging link, and now we're ready to move on and bring everything back to Figma. All right, like we said, the next step is to head back into Figma, and you can see that I have a client project open. This is a mobile app that I've been working on for a client. And this is like a fitness or habit tracking app. We can open up the design and you can see all of the different design work that I've done for this mobile app. Now, you're asking, why are you showing me a mobile app? I thought we were building websites. Because this client asked for a website and they needed it quick. I was able to provide it for them using this process. So what we did was we started a new Figma file and we went over and created a new page in here called wireframes. And we brought in wireframes from, you guessed it, directly from Framepad. Now, how did we do this? Well, we used a plugin inside of Figma to actually pull in the live website wireframes directly from Framer. I'll show you how we did that right now. So this plugin is actually really great, and it is called the HTML to Design plugin. It's going to import websites directly in to Figma. Well, since we actually are building a website, we have a live staging link over here. We can actually grab this URL just like so, and we can come back into Figma and we can replace it. Let's paste the URL right inside of there, and then let's hit edit here. And we don't want 1920, that's probably too wide for us. We're gonna do 1440, 768, and 390. But actually, before we do that, let's head back into Framer and see the size that we're actually importing. So our desktop actually is gonna be desktop anywhere from after 1199, so 1200 and above is going to be desktop. Then we have 1199 down to 810. So why don't we make this one for our tablet? Why don't we make that 810? We're going to get the exact specifications there for tablet, and then we'll come back and we'll see that this one is set at 390. So why don't we make that last one 390? And sure enough, it is. We're going to press close and then hit import, and then this plugin is going to do the magic for us. And boom, that's it. The plugin has done its job. And this plugin is actually really great. You get 10 free imports per month if you want to have a free account. I actually love this process so much, I've paid for the plugin. But again, I'm not sponsored by the plugin. I just really, really dig it. So you can see that it has imported into my file all of those wireframes that we pulled directly from Framer via Framepad. Now, this is the second step. You're going to import things from the web. It feels a little bit backwards, but into your design tool, because now we have content, structure, layout, like all of those things approved by our client. And now is the time to start designing. And that's exactly what we've done on this previous project. We imported a home page and we imported something that was going to end up being like a blog page or a feature page. And we brought in those wireframes. The next step is for you to actually start doing the design work. All of these, because we imported them with that plugin, are fully customizable. So I can update the text here, or I can click on the background and totally change the color of this. So everything here is totally customizable. So I grabbed some of those styles and some of the design style that we had from our project, and I moved into a design file and I started designing. So now we have the fully customized and designed screens for our homepage. We brought in shots of the product. We changed the typography. We brought in some iconography and some feature sections and more of that copy and content. And then we brought in even more of that kind of like the glows and everything happening in the background. And notice I've even done a little bit of customization. Like I didn't like how these three mobile devices were kind of staggered. I love this vertical stacked layout, but I don't like the kind of jumbly nature of them. So I just straightened them out by customizing. This is your time to go in and customize, because any customizations that you make here, you will be able to do back when we get inside of Framer. So make all of those customizations, make all of those tweaks and changes and the things that really jump out. Maybe do some animation, go do some Rive stuff or some Lottie animation. Bring it back in here and you now have a fully customized design. Now, once these designs are ready to go, we're going to move on to our third step, which is bring everything from here and get it back into Framer to launch our final website. Okay, we are back inside of Framer and we're ready to start bringing over all of that amazing design work that we've done. And you can see here, I have this new website and I want to show you how I would go about doing that. The first thing I would do is I'm going to come over to assets and I'm just going to start aligning all of my styles, color styles, typography styles, everything to the project that is over inside of Figma. And so what that looks like is coming in and finding the styles you can see here on the left-hand side that I'm using. For instance, I can double click on this component. I can click on that typography that's right there. You can see that that one is my headline too heavy. I can either edit that right here, or I could have gone over into that left panel, that assets panel, and I can change anything that's happening. Like maybe we're changing the font to a web font or a custom font. Maybe we're going to change the style or the weight, the transform, all of the different text properties that are taking place here. We can go ahead and make those changes. So if it's not enter, but instead it's something like is stock web, we can go ahead and just make that switch. And because we're changing the text style, it's going to change it everywhere in the entire project. So you're going to go through and you're going to update all of your typography styles. Then you're going to go through and you're going to update, same thing, all of your different color styles. You can see that over on the left-hand side, not only do we have text styles, we have link styles, and we also have color styles. So maybe we want to change our success color, our primary colors, our text colors, whatever it is, we can go ahead and change them. Now keep in mind, you can always just do these things custom if you wanted to, one by one. I could click here and come into my fill and say, hey, give me a fill that's red, and boom, when I come back to my website, there it is, the fill of that piece is red. Now this is exactly what we've done on this client website. I've come in, and in this case, I've detached some of the sections so I could customize them a little bit. And I've changed the typography, right? I've updated the font style. I've taken the navigation bar and put in the logo that's up there and changed the different like assets. I've put in the different actual components. And so instead of it just being a random, let's just undo that. And instead of it just being a random phone and having this component here like that, I've drugged my correct image inside of it, and it's updated these three assets and elements. And then that's all I'm doing, just going down the page, updating sections, putting in my own content, my own colors, and very, very quickly you start to have a fully functioning website. And it goes so fast, in fact, that you go from having a website like this to maybe 30 minutes later, having a website that looks like this. The whole thing is fully functional, like all of the color. I got video in there. I got all my elements. And now if we want to, we can take our time and update it by adding a little bit of animation. This is the process. You start with Framepad, get the structure, get that content, get everything back down into Figma through the plugin that will import everything in, make any of your customizations, do your design work, get really visual there, and then take those styles and bring them back into Framer as you start to edit your page, and then press that stinking publish button, and you have a professional, beautiful website that was customized by you in probably just a few hours. Well, that's it. What do you think about this process? Are you going to start using this in your web design workflow? Are you afraid of tools like Framepad and Framer, or are you really excited about them? I would love to start a conversation down below in the comments. And if you want to learn more about Framer and my web design process, consider becoming one of my design champions. That link is down in the description, and you can do that for free today. Also, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that bell so you know when more web design videos like this one come out. And with that, I hope your web design process is amazing. I hope you're designing amazing things, making amazing things, and we'll see you in the next one.